All right, hey there, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, coming in from our digital desk in the newsroom this afternoon. Just wanted to give everyone a quick weather update, deep diving a little bit more into the forecast, not only today, but also this week. And throughout the week, starting from now, you will be seeing us meteorologists, your first alert weather team, coming with you with the latest weather information at times during our shift. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what's going on right now. You may have already seen some of that rainfall around the area. As we head into the afternoon, we are going to continue to keep a chance for seeing some of those hit or miss showers and storms. Keywords there are hit or miss. Similar to yesterday, some of us may get caught under some heavy rainfall. Others of us may not see anything at all. We are definitely in our very classic summertime pattern here in South Mississippi. And of course, along with that comes the heat and humidity. In fact, because many of us have seen some sunshine today, we've already warmed up into the upper 80s and low 90s. Even this evening, keep your umbrella nearby. We still could see some of those showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms sticking around. Right now in Gulfport, it's hot, it's humid. We're sitting at 90, heat index at 101, which of course is hot, but as we know, for this time of the year, it could be worse. We are seeing dew points in the mid to upper 70s, meaning we have a lot of moisture in place, and you can certainly feel that as you step out the door today, and that high humidity not only sticking around today, but also for quite some time. It is July after all, so it's probably not going to be until, I'm going to say, maybe October that we finally get a little bit more relief from the heat and humidity. Where we've had a little more rainfall, things are just a bit cooler at this point, or at the time of this, at about 125. We're seeing some of those low 80s up into Wiggins, Perkinston. Hotter though, closer to the coast where we haven't had as much rain. We're sitting in the low 90s in Pascagoula. Van Cleve right now sitting at 89, 88 over into Bay St. Louis. And I would say that high humidity causing the heat index right now to be in the triple digits almost across the board, with the exception of those areas that have seen a little bit more rain. So we can see first alert radar at this time showing some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms up into Pearl River County, also up into Stone County. It looks like these are moving in and out fairly quickly. That's good news regarding the flooding potential for us. Still could see some heavy rainfall in a short amount of time that may lead to some localized flooding, but thankfully doesn't look like these are going to be sitting around for much longer up into Pearl River and Stone County. They are moving in and out. However, we're not done. The day has just begun. Still could see more of these showers and storms develop later in the afternoon and also into the evening. So generally speaking, inland areas have seen the most rainfall over the past 24 hours. Many of us on the coast haven't seen much at all. We did see a couple of isolated showers earlier today south of I-10 in Harrison County. But I will say over the past 6 days or so, this is a look at our radar estimates over the past 6 days since last Wednesday, we've picked up a good bit of rain across the area. In fact, some spots have picked up roughly 7 to 8 inches of rain over the past 6 to 7 days. So by no means are we seeing drought conditions. That is some good news. If you remember from last year, it was incredibly hot, but also dry in terms of rainfall. At least at this point, drought is not too much of a concern, especially since over the past several days we've been seeing those scattered showers and thunderstorms. But additional rainfall, with the ground being somewhat saturated, could lead to some localized flooding. So just a heads up on that. As I widen out this view, we can see a boundary to our north, well to our north I might add, and you may notice that south of the boundary there's a lot of cloud cover, quite a few more showers and thunderstorms, and that's where most of the moisture is at this point. North of the boundary, not seeing as much rain. That's where we have some of that drier air in place. Now specifically along coastal Texas and Louisiana, we've got plenty of showers and thunderstorms over there. We've got a good bit of tropical moisture moving up from the southern Gulf of Mexico over parts of Texas and also Louisiana. Those areas are going to have the higher chance of seeing some flash flooding today and possibly even into tomorrow. Now this is a rainfall forecast over the next 5 days. Some of those areas may be picking up an additional 3 to 6 inches of rain. For us locally, we're more so looking at about an additional 1 to 3 inches over the next 4 to 5 days. Now, of course, if some of us see some stronger thunderstorms, that would lead to some heavier totals, possibly over 3 inches. But generally speaking, 1 to 3 is going to be a pretty safe bet over the next 5 days or so. But again, the farther you are to the west, the more moisture there is, and that's going to be the higher risk of flooding, especially for today. So those areas highlighted in yellow, they are under a level 2 or slight risk of flash flooding today and also tonight. Now, parts of South Mississippi today under that marginal or level 1 risk of flash flooding. If we get any flooding today, I do expect that to be much more localized, and our inland areas have been seeing more of that rainfall. So I would say today, inland spots may have a slightly higher chance of seeing some of that flooding, more so than the coast. But overall, the flooding risk today, not too terribly high, just a heads up that some of these showers and storms could produce some heavy rain in a short amount of time. Going back to satellite and radar here, we can see widespread showers, thunderstorms in parts of southeast Louisiana. It looks like some of those may be moving up into New Orleans. And if you have plans to travel today farther west, maybe along I-10 throughout Louisiana, just a heads up, maybe getting a little dicey at times with those showers and storms. And of course, that heavy rainfall could lead to some flooding on the road. At least for the time being, I-10 here in South Mississippi, weather not too much of a concern. We're just seeing a mix of sun and clouds a little bit closer to the coast here. And if you're going to be traveling eastbound into Alabama, the Florida Panhandle later today, still could see some of those spotty showers and storms, but those are very typical of this time of the year. So this afternoon, I can't guarantee that everyone is going to be seeing rainfall. These showers and storms are very hit or miss. And if you've been living around here for a little while, you know this is fairly typical for this time of the year, especially in the afternoon and early evening with those spotty showers and thunderstorms. Those of us that get rain will cool down a little bit. Those of us that don't will be stuck into the upper 80s and low 90s. Now, our latest run of Futurecast does show some of that tropical moisture moving in later this evening and overnight tonight. Not going to rule that out. With plenty of moisture in place, we may see some of those showers and storms hold together, but as we lose the daytime heating very late tonight into early Wednesday morning, it does look like some of that rain will begin to diminish and move out of the way. Now, tomorrow morning, few coastal showers and storms not out of the question. Can't completely rule that out, but we do expect us to have a better chance of rain tomorrow afternoon and evening compared to the morning. And just like today, some of those showers and storms may produce some heavy rain in a short amount of time. I know I sound like a broken record, but once again, those of us that get the rainfall tomorrow, we will be able to cool down a little bit. Those of us that don't see much rain, well, you can expect temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. Now, by Thursday and Friday, things maybe not getting quite as rainy, but the catch with that is temperatures are going to start to increase once we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I will say the forecast as a whole this week is very consistent, which is, again, typical for this time of the year. So temperatures on the coast Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday, likely going to be hovering around 90. Inland areas a little bit farther away from the water could expect to warm up a few degrees more than that, looking more so at the mid 90s by the middle to end of this week. So the weekend, very summer-like. Of course, it's going to be hot. It will be humid, and we can't completely rule out a few more spotty showers and thunderstorms. However, our upper level pattern changes just a little bit by Friday and Saturday. We've been under the influence of a trough to our north. That's allowed some of those showers and thunderstorms to develop more quickly. A trough is generally an area of low pressure in the upper levels. This is showing an area of high pressure in the upper levels, getting a little bit closer to us by Friday and Saturday. High pressure generally means more sinking air, which helps prevent as many showers and storms from developing. I'm still not ruling out a few hit or miss showers and storms Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday, but the rain may not be quite as widespread going into the weekend. So maybe that is some good news if you have outdoor plans. But on the flip side, when we have a ridge of high pressure over us, that means things are going to be a little bit hotter. Thankfully, the ridge isn't going to be too strong to where the heat will be unmanageable. We are looking at temperatures close to average for this time of the year, near 90, but we may not get as much rain by the weekend to cool us off a little bit more. Still though, not much going on in the tropics, so I'll take the heat any day over having to deal with the tropical system. We can see here in our forecast rain chances just a little lower by Friday and Saturday. They don't completely go away, but they're going to be a bit more isolated, it looks like, heading into the weekend. Now going back to the tropics really quick, again, really not expecting any development over the next 5 to 7 days. It does look like we have maybe a few little disturbances way out there in the Atlantic. No development expected with those. As a whole, the Atlantic relatively quiet, and part of the reason why is we're still seeing these big plumes of Saharan dust moving over the open Atlantic, and some of that moving into the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. If you notice the sky looking a little hazy at times, it may be due to some of that Saharan dust. And according to this model, we've got more on the way going into the weekend and even early next week. Now, it's not untypical for this time of the year for the tropics to be quiet. The middle to end of July typically doesn't bring a ton of tropical activity, although it certainly is possible. So with the tropics being quiet right now, that's not too unusual. However, once we get into mid-late August, that's when the tropics really begin to ramp up, especially into parts of September and even early October. We really have to keep a close eye out on the tropics. But thankfully for today, tropics are not too much of a concern. At least we can take it easy for a little bit longer before hurricane season begins to ramp up by August and September. Really looking at a very summer-like 7-day forecast. Again, lots of heat, humidity, hit or miss showers and thunderstorms Tuesday, today, Wednesday into Thursday. Rain chances look a little bit lower once we get into Friday and Saturday, not by much. I will say it makes our job a little easier with the forecast being so consistent. Hopefully that makes your life a little easier too, and especially not having anything to deal with in the tropics certainly helps us out quite a bit. Overnight lows generally staying in the mid to upper 70s. These are temperatures that are very close to average for us on the coast. I will say those 90s, those highs right around 90, that's more so for the coast. If you live inland north of I-10, you're probably going to be able to heat up a little bit more into the low to mid 90s at that point. So to wrap it up, very summer-like pattern heading into the rest of the week tonight. If you have plans to be out and about, not a bad idea to keep your umbrella nearby, just in case you see some more of those passing showers and even a few thunderstorms. That's going to be the case tomorrow and into Thursday. Very consistent pattern setting up over the next several days. Just a little bit hotter, it looks like, by the weekend. But hey, that makes for a great pool weekend for a lot of us with those high temperatures in the 90s. So hopefully this has been helpful to everyone, just diving in a little bit more into weather. And like I said, starting from here on out, we are going to be doing more of these live streams, more of these videos, just giving a little bit more in-depth about our forecast and what's going on in the world of weather around here. Thankfully, we didn't have to dive in too much into the tropics. Those are remaining quiet. But of course, as we get into August and September, we're likely going to be talking more and more about the tropics, but this is one other resource that you could look into with our First Alert Weather Team to get the latest information on that. And knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to do too many tropical updates, but history tells us that by August and September, things usually ramp up, and we are still expecting a very active season this year. So to wrap it up, thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to doing the next one here shortly.